Welcome to this tutorial on how to set up a new conveyor using Belt Analyst. This example will go through the basic process for setting up each of your design parameters. We will be starting with one of the preloaded templates in Belt Analyst for a horizontal conveyor. You do have the option of saving your own conveyor template with values commonly used by your company. For our example, click the New button. Select Horizontal Conveyor, Head Drive, Head Take-Up, and English Units. Save the conveyor in the desired project folder. If you are prompted to save your project file in a new file format, click Yes. This is due to Belt Analyst having pre-existing versions. If you want to save the file so that it can be used in older versions, click No. If you look at the right-hand side of the screen, you will see the basic setup of your conveyor. You have the cross-sectional area of the carry and return idlers. You have the current profile, shown here as fully loaded, which is the default. You also have the basic information like width, speed, load, and the ambient temperature. And at the bottom of the right side is the overview of the tension seen by the conveyor. On the left side, you will see tabs that represent the important components of the conveyor. The first tab is the Notes tab, where you can name your project and insert any special notes about the design. The second tab is the Materials tab, where you can choose the material that would be carried on the conveyor. The Flights tab is where you can define the geometry of the overall profile. The Belt tab is where you can choose the belt specifications. The Idler tab is where you can specify the number of idlers, the geometry of the frame, and the grade of the idlers. The Drives tab is where you can choose the size of your motor. The Take-Up tab is where you define the weight or the tension of the take-up. The Pulleys tab is where you can choose the size, lagging, and other specifications of each of your pulleys. The Vertical Curves tab is where you can input the radius of a concave or convex curve. None is shown here at the moment because there are no vertical curves on our conveyor. The last tab is the Trajectory tab, which shows the trajectory of the material off the end of the belt. This is mostly used for chute design. We typically like to start with the information on the right side of the screen, then move through the tabs from top to bottom as we design the conveyor. When you begin your conveyor design, you need to ask yourself what kind of conveyor you are looking at. Is it a pre-existing conveyor, where you know the information on the right side of the screen and want to find the components that will fit those specs, or are you trying to model them to fit a specific need you may have? In this case, we will use the pre-existing conveyor with the head drive and the head take-up on a horizontal conveyor where the specs are already known. We will set the width of the conveyor to a 36-inch belt. We will choose a speed of 450 feet per second. And we will set the load to be 800 tons per hour. We will also set the ambient temperature to 32 degrees Fahrenheit. After you enter each value, you can see the program has recalculated based on the new values. So now we will go through each tab starting at the top.